What's up, everybody? We're doing something brand new, something I've wanted to do for a long time, but never done it. This is a hill climb race. Not a big field, 5 people, the chain chomper route. Not super familiar with this route in recent months, and if I remember right, it is only the segment. This is an interesting race because it's only the Castle KOM that we're actually racing, and yet there's a lead-in and I guess a lead-out. You have to go to the finishing banner for the whole thing to count. And although the Castle KOM average gradient is 2.1%, it's very deceptive. As you can see, there's quite a bit of green areas or flat or even downhill kind of sections. So there are a fair amount of portions where it does really punch right up. So it is pretty deceptive. My power profile is pretty geared towards something like this. I'm pretty strong at the 5-minute effort, which is why I've really wanted to try my hand at this, but also just kind of been too hesitant to as well. So for such a hill climb race like this that does have a lot of flat sections, I didn't think it would be the most beneficial to go with the most lightweight setup, so I actually went with the Canyon Aeroed, pretty all-around bike with Zip 454. So pretty aero, pretty lightweight. I thought it would be best of both worlds. Also, what makes this race kind of unique is there are no power-ups and there's no drafting as well. But nonetheless, I did want to do my best to stay with the front group. Also, it's a mixed pen, as you can see on the standings on the right side of the screen, the multicolored little dots next to our name. There wasn't a whole lot of Bs, only 5 in the pen to start, but I wanted to be towards the front with them regardless because kind of figured that's who I'm racing. Now, if somebody comes like with this come from behind victory and they have the shortest time on the segment, hey, all the power to them. But in my experience, it's usually going to come from the front. So I really made sure to be in the front with the other Bs, and I tried to mark them as best I could. Now, granted, the one here is a second or so ahead of us, and we have just now started the segment, and right around this part, I'm like, oh, okay, this is all coming back to me now. Again, I've not ridden in McCurry, however you say it, in quite some time, actually. Just doing all these other things. I don't know. I feel like every time I race, I'm like, oh, I haven't done this in forever. In part, I haven't raced a whole lot this fall. I've been doing those stupid hill climbs. But anyways, so I am pushing, and I'm very pleased with my power so far. I'm very pleased with how my legs are feeling. I have been really working this last weekend on my bike fit. I actually did that little AI bike fit thing. So I've got this new position. I'm trying to do some zone 2 and like accustom my body to it. So this is actually the first race I've done with this new fit. And it feels really good. It feels very much more optimized for power. I'm working on making a video for that. So stay tuned with that. And again, here we are. It kind of flattens out. I lose a little bit of power. And then when it goes around this turn, I try to ramp it up. I try to close this gap. So now it says 0 seconds, but he's still a few meters ahead of me. And I'm watching how much power he's putting out. And I did notice it was usually a little bit more, 0.2, 0.3 watts per kilo more than me, which you know how it is. It really adds up. So that was a mistake I made. I should have pushed harder. Second, look at my heart rate. It's 186 right here. It's actually, which seems outrageous to me. That's when I should be like exploding. But my fitness, I've slowly increased it over the last couple weeks. And at one point I hit 189. And then at another point I'm holding 188. And I just couldn't believe it. Anyways, that was one mistake, not matching the guy's power. I really should have brought him back a little more, especially, I mean, he got this 2-second gap, and then he kind of just capitalizes on it slowly but surely. I try to reel him in. I try to do some efforts. And here's mistake number 2. I didn't do my homework, and I didn't do course recon. I didn't know exactly where the finish line was. Yes, it is the segment. It's not the end of the course. So the 0.7 miles that I'm used to seeing of how much distance remains, there's the 189 heart rate. The 0.7 is not accurate. It's less than that. So I'm pacing myself for, 3/4 more of a mile when that was not accurate. And I didn't realize that until another minute or so. So I'm trying to or I was a second ago, trying to rest and recover as much as I could in those few seconds and still have decent power. And that's where he started to get away from me a little more. But mindset, my legs, my lungs, feeling phenomenal. Despite seeing 188 being sustained as my heart rate, I was blown away by that. Why and how I wasn't seeing stars, not really sure. But here's one point, it's okay, it flattens out. Let me try to put some power down. And it just dipped because it was so flat. And then it stayed a little bit too low right here for a little bit longer than I wanted to. Again, hindsight is 20/20. And then it was right here. I was looking at the mini map, and I was like, oh, the banner is right there. He's got 3 seconds on me. But at this point, it's done because he's about to cross it. So that's when it really hit me. I had been looking at the distance countdown instead of where the banner actually was. So, dude, I never thought I'd complain so much about getting a podium in category B. Oh! 258? Oh, that's the whole thing. I don't care about the whole thing. It's pretty good, though. Well, kind of. What I care about is the segment. So as long as we're talking about stupid mistakes I've made in this race, here's one of the biggest I made in Zwift history ever. I clicked the wrong button. Good heavens, dude. I'm going to keep it right there. And I'm so upset because I didn't get to see my power curve, my data, anything like that. Luckily, it did save and it did go right to Strava, so I got something to compare it to, but I don't have premium. What? No! Lost my stuff. Despite some of the stupidest mistakes I feel like I've ever made in this game, I did have a couple personal wins. A new 3-minute power, 354 watts, 4.47 kilo. It's pretty good. I wish I also got a 5-minute power, but I dropped the power and I paced myself too long, so I didn't. But second place. Look at that silver trophy next to my name. Granted, there's only 2 other competitors in the whole category, but hey, a podium in Cat B is a podium in Cat B no matter how you cut the cake. Stoked on that. I feel like I'm back. That was good. It's pretty good effort. Could have been a little bit better here and there. Yeah, sure. But you know what? We did it. Guys, thank you so much for the encouragement. I will see you in the next one.